Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the L.E. Modesitt Jr. book Darksong Rising, which is the third book in the Spellsong cycle. I'm going to try not to make this too long because, as you can hear, my voice is not in very good shape. So I'm going to try to just kind of get to the nitty gritty bits of this and what Anna is basically doing. Anna has to first fight the wars in her enemy area. That's kind of where she has to start. There's Lord Ihara in Dubara that we saw. Then she had to go into Ibra again, and to take out, the one lord that was basically just trying to enslave women, and they were trying to give. She was trying to give women sort of that safe, that freedom, that safety that they could have. Um, then after that, she has to go on to another one, and this is Nazaria and the new prophet of music, who basically is a little pervert. He's not a guy. Well, he's not quite a man, but yet not a boy either. And he's very much like his mother, where he schemes and plots. But Rabin is just a character that you really don't like. And he becomes the last obstacle on the outside of Defog that she has to take care of. Then there are things that are happening within the 33 lords. And she has to now deal with some of those. Some that are saying, well, we don't like that you're giving lands to women now. That's not the way Defog runs. It's not the way we are. It goes from father to son, and that's it. And she basically has to take on all these people who are saying that. And one lord demands that she, Bertel, demands that she basically give up the regency and be executed. And, I mean, she has a surprise for him, obviously. She takes him out. She takes out all his people. And I mean, she's taking out scores of men. And I don't know where, all these Lancers are coming from, because she can't seem to whip up more than 10, 15 score, and these other ones have got 20, 30 scores. Where are they getting them from? It's not really quite explained, though, where that is coming from. So she has to look at some of the other areas within Defog. Flossbend, which Anienta and her sons were poisoned, and she was holding on to the lands for her sons, and she was poisoned, and an uncle comes in and takes the land, and is like, no, we're not having that. This is going to be Sekka's land, who is basically a 10-year-old girl who found she can do sorcery. She can sing, and she can play a mandolin. And I think she's going to have a much bigger role moving forward, because there's still two more books in this cycle. There's 5 in all, and I will say that the pacing to this, the first half, the first maybe 150 pages, is a little bit slower moving. Again, it's all the lining up of the political factions and who she's going to have to take on, and there are still people that are afraid of her and don't like what she stands for, and that she's a woman, and a woman doesn't have power over men, not in the Falk, not in Leadvar. But she has to take this on. And it basically comes down to, at the end, where there are still people that fear her. In Ancora, the council is still fearing her. There's a lady of shadows who was like, well, we can always poison her. And Ashtar, who is the spy mistress, says, no, you don't get it. She's not out for power. If she wanted power, she could have taken everything by now. And if you take her out before it's her time to go, because she will eventually die, if you take her out, then you are going to have the Leadfur basically come right in and take over Defalk and Dubaria and Nazaria, and now you're going to have that enemy at your southern borders. You don't want that. That is kind of left open. The council doesn't really come to any kind of a decision here. The way the book ends is finally, her and Lord Jex hook up. It's been building for basically 2.5 books, and it finally comes on page 500, 501, the last 2 pages. I enjoyed the book. I thought it was a good book. I'm interested to see what happens in books 4 and 5. That I'll be getting into soon. So I gave it 5 stars. I would recommend it. 5 stars for the series so far. Again, I think it's just kind of, it's kind of creative to have it be in a world that is medievally, and your magic is done by, the sorcery is done by song. And there's Darksong and there's Clearsong. And Darksong Rising is, the title really is about the moon. There's 2 moons. There's a Clearsong and Darksong. But we also see that Darksong is being used more by her enemies, and something she's not expecting. But yeah, overall, I'd say good book, 5 stars. So yeah, with that, as always, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when new videos come on out. Leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I always respond. And as always, until next time, keep YouTube literate, and God bless.